Welcome to the Business for Breakfast seminar series presented by Huddleston Bolin. Business for Breakfast seminars provide very practical information for business people on topics ranging from sales and marketing to customer service, employee relations, technology, and accounting. For information about upcoming seminars, go to www.huddlestonbolin.com/events, or to view videos from past seminars, visit e4b-huddlestonbolin.com. Today's seminar is Tips for Developing a Killer Business Plan. Our speaker is Rachel Houston, Operations Director at Unlimited Future, a business incubator in Huntington. Co-sponsors for this seminar are Huddleston Bolin LLP, the Small Business Administration, and SCORE.
Mostly your business plan is for yourself. This is to make sure that you know what you are doing. And you can polish it up later if you want to take it to a bank. But for the most part, it's a guide for you. So there really isn't a right or wrong way to do it. It's just as long as you can read it and it makes you feel comfortable and you know what you're doing, then you're doing okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, does the plan make sense? So recently, I did a business plan competition. I was one of the judges for a business plan competition. And we were dealing with 5 different businesses who were all in the pre-startup phase. Well, 4 of them were in the pre-startup phase. 1 had actually been working for a while. So when these people turned in their business plans to us, their audience were people who were reading their plan to see if their business was viable. We weren't going to be giving them any money. We were just trying to see, did these people have an idea that would work? Did it make sense? So when you're writing your plan, who is going to be reading it? If you're writing your plan to get funding, then you need to be making sure that your financials are really strong and that you talk about who you are, your personal integrity, your experience. You have to make sure your numbers make sense. Because the person who is reading that's pretty much the only thing they're going to care about. If you're writing it more for yourself to see, is this business going to work, then you're going to have to really focus more on the goals and the timeline and startup costs, and do I have all my pieces in place? Next, you want to make sure your information is accurate. Your plan should be based on actual information, not wishes. Goals are not dreams. They need to be real and they need to be achievable. You can't say, I want to start a cafe, and then within a year, I plan to buy a barge and move my cafe onto a barge because I think that would be really nice. Well, yes, that might be really nice, but it's probably not going to happen. So we don't even need to talk about that in this plan. Talk about what it is you actually plan to do. Is the plan complete? I should be able to read your business plan and know exactly what you do. So don't assume that people already know anything. If you're writing it for somebody other than yourself, you have to make sure that it is clear, concise, and easy to follow. All right, what should be in your plan? All right. First, we're going to have a business description, which is where you're going to clearly describe your business and industry, and make sure you stick to the facts. What does your business do? Where does your business do it? Who do you serve? And what makes you different? Which is always my favorite part of a business plan, because somebody will say, my business is very unique. And that's what they say, because they run it, so it must be unique. It's the only business I have. You have to actually say why you are different. And if you're not different, maybe that's not a big deal. In your industry, maybe you can support 5 places that are all exactly alike. But you just need to explain that. Just don't say, my business is very unique, period, and move on. All right, the owner and stakeholder backgrounds. Who are you, and why are you qualified to run the business? We don't need a full biography of where you grew up and how many pets you have. Just what are your credentials and your experience, and be able to get that across to the reader so that they know that, yes, I can trust this person. They can do a good job. Describe your customers. You don't sell to everybody, so don't even say that. 4 out of the 5 business plans that I read said, my customer is everybody. It is not. Everybody can buy your product and everybody can use their service, but who is it that you want to come into your store? Who is your advertising geared to? How many people like that live in your area? And how are you going to get them to come into your store? That's the kind of market information that you're going to need to have in your plan. Describe, the current state of your business. Are you a startup in the middle of a change? Have you been around for a while and looking to try something new? You need to be able to give a snapshot of your current business state. Okay. And, excuse me, complete financials. And this will kind of depend on where you are in your business. Startups are going to have startup costs, as well as their cash flow projections. Established businesses are going to have actual numbers. You know, what have they been doing? Because real numbers are like the most important thing you could possibly put in your business plan. If you have real numbers, you need to use them. If you don't, then you're going to have to, you know, do some projecting, and that's, I think a lot of people find that to be probably the most difficult part of their business plan because they don't really know. You know, I have no idea how much electricity will cost at this location, so there's a lot of research that's going to go into that. And you're going to probably need to ask for help. People like the SBDC and Embra Wilson can probably help you find those that information and those numbers. More importantly, we're going to talk about what not to do. Do not assume. Make sure that you let someone read your plan who does not know anything about your business. They will help identify areas that are unclear or need more detail or less detail. You may be going off on a complete tangent somewhere, so let a few people read it. Do not be boring. Although your plan should be professional, it shouldn't be boring. It doesn't have to be exciting. It doesn't have to be funny, just to the point. If you are concise, you don't have a chance to get boring. And business plans tend to get really boring. All right. Don't make it a wish list. Only talk about facts. What are you really planning to do? Not what you would like to do, but what you are going to do and how you plan to do it. Don't make it too long, which is similar to being boring. Unless you own Google, you're not going to need a plan that's like 100 pages long. You know, it doesn't impress anybody to have a 100-page business plan because no one will read it. Nobody wants to sit and plow through 100 pages about your business because they don't care about it as much as you do. Even if they're going to be giving you money, they just want to make sure that they're going to get their money back. Quality is way more important than quantity in a plan. You know, some businesses can get their point across in 5 pages, and some are going to need 20, and some are going to need 50, but just make sure you don't go overboard. Incomplete or wrong financials. When I was doing the plan judging, we had several people that had just numbers that were all over the place. I mean, they'd say in one paragraph, oh, we're going to be able to get started for this much, and then on the next financial sheet, then it was a completely different number, and it was just very confusing because I could not tell you how much it was going to cost for them to start their business or what it was they actually needed. So, you know, accuracy is way more impressive than a sales graph that just goes up and shows numbers that are just completely impossible. So make sure it is accurate. And if you need help, please go and seek professional assistance. So, and where to go for help. There are a few websites out there that are going to be really helpful, ours being one of them, of course, and SCORE and the SBA. I had somebody who was interested in doing one of the businesses downtown, so I called one of the other business owners downtown who I knew they would not be competitors, but they would be neighbors. And I said, you know, do you think this would be a good fit as your neighbor? Would you want this kind of business next to you? Because those people can help each other. You know, similar businesses in the same area can feed off of each other. And so, you know, talking to other businesses that, you know, maybe near where you're looking at locating might be useful. And they might say no. Something like that was in there 2 years ago and it failed miserably. Never consider that. so, did anybody else have any questions?
Good job, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, Amber. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for coming out today. If you don't mind, take just a couple minutes and fill out the evaluation form. If you were using